are asking what you do with yourself. Friends are asking what you do with yourself. Family's asking what you do with yourself, and you don't know.
Set? Yay! Okay, this is Pie Sessions Gabriel Green, and I'm here with Brett Wildeman, or Wildman, as his grandfather likes to pronounce it.
Yes.
And I have baked him a strawberry rhubarb pie.
That looks delicious.
And I'm excited. My brother came home and was like, "Oh, I had some of Brett's pie. Is that okay?" And I was like, "What?" And then my dad was like, "He's just bugging you." Okay, so I'm excited to interview you because you are different. You are a storyteller, musician.
Okay.
I know all musicians are technically storytellers, but you actually like talk about issues that you find important in your environment and what's going around.
Yeah.
And do you find that harder to write about?
Not really. I don't, I've never really tried to write about anything. It just kind of happens more. Like, songs, things in life just kind of percolate into ideas which end up in my head at least, and then that results in the writing of a thematic kind of song.
Is your songwriting process what's your songwriting process like?
I don't really have one.
Just comes whenever?
Yeah, I started writing a song on a paper plate. Actually, I ate a piece of pizza, and then I had the paper plate in my backpack for a week. And I had this amazing idea, and I was unpacking my apartment that I just moved into, and I was frantically scratching, and that's the only thing I could find was this old dirty pizza plate. So I have a half-written song on the pizza plate at home.
Oh.
Grew up on Harlem Hill, on the other side of town. Above the tsunami line, we hang our wash to dry. The cranberry bogs, they keep us afloat when times get tough. And freedom is in the air when seas get rough. But sometimes songs, I'll sit down for an hour and they'll just happen. Sometimes it's weeks. Sometimes it'll be parts of songs, and then I'll come back weeks later and they'll become bigger parts of songs and maybe into an eventual song. But yeah, I've never really
You never had a actual process. Yeah. Okay. Do you when you go traveling, for example, you're a traveling man. You are.
Trying to
be. Do you find it harder that you're a traveling musician than, let's say, a musician that just stays in Vancouver so they can constantly kind of be around the scene or whatever? Or do you find it almost easier because you have different sites to write about or to be inspired by? Or does it have its pros and cons?
Pros and cons for sure.
What's a pro?
A pro? I can't think of it. Oh, a pro is I get to spend a lot of time working on my music.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'll go cons first though, because that's easy for me. The con is it's been hard to commit to shows and gigs and really pursue that because I've been so transient in the last couple years. I was in Victoria for a while, then I started playing with people there, then I moved to the Kootenays. So I have a bunch of ski with me. And then I was back, then I moved to the Sunshine Coast, then back to Vancouver, and now back to the Sunshine Coast in a 2-year span, right? So it's been hard because once I start playing with people, it's oh bye, I'm moving again. And then just when we start getting a set together and all of that stuff, so that's been difficult.
That's annoying, yeah.
But the pro is that it's kind of made myself dependent upon myself. I'm not depending upon other people, but be oh, let's have a practice because I'm practicing with myself because that's all I have right now.
So, when did you pick up your first instrument? or guitar or ukulele?
Guitar was grade 3, just after I moved to the Sunshine Coast. I moved to the Sunshine Coast, so 95.
Did your parents get it for you, or?
Yeah, I took class, or like, I bounced between like 5 or 6 guitar teachers from grade 3 until grade 10 or 11, and then, and then ended up leaving guitar lessons, then just kept on doing my thing.
Yeah. And you're also a photographer and a freelance journalist. So how do you balance? Those are 3 pretty big, like, you know, all 3 of those could be a career. How do you balance 3?
Like right now, I don't know, it's all different times. Like, editing photos can happen whenever. Taking photos, like, usually, I like to have assignments, or like, tasks to do.
Yeah.
It's like just taking photos for the sake of taking photos. It's like to have like a goal.
Yeah.
So I don't know, they just like fill voids when I have time. Like recently it's been a lot of music, like pushing a lot of music. But I do have like an article on the go for a mountain bike magazine right now. Yeah, so that's really exciting. Coast country is my home. It's all I'd ever know. Born and raised, likely die this way. Die the way it was shown. And cranberry bars keep me afloat when times get tough. And freedom is in the air when seas get rough.
I guess when you first started, your songwriting process came because I read you're, you know, a poet. So you already had writing experience. So which one, if you had to choose one of those 3, was there one in particular you'd like to do full time? Like if you could be like paid full time for what? Would it be music?
That would be really tough.
Yeah.
I mean, music recently has been like the focal point of lots of stuff. So I would say that, but it would be like really, really hard not to go and tour and not take photos of where you're going, you know? It's like so if you said to me like, oh, you can go on tour but you can't bring your camera, I'd be a little bit heartbroken. I'd be like, but that's like half the fun.
Yeah, taking pictures.
Yeah, so
documenting your journey.
Exactly. So, I mean, I think I'd write, but then the writing one, it's like I write my music, so then that kind of gets compensated in that regard. So I don't have an answer.
You're like multi-talented.
I don't have a question, or I don't have an answer for that question.
Okay, if you had to play, like, you got to go on tour with anyone, what would be like kind of a Vancouver band? Let's keep it Vancouver. Let's say like, or a Canadian band that you would just like absolutely love to go on tour with. Or play with, to be a part of.
I think Elliot Brood.
Elliot Brood?
Yeah, I saw them last year at Folk Fest and the Commodore.
Yeah?
6 months ago, I guess it was. And they just seem like really rad guys, like on and off the stage.
Yeah?
Like at Folk Fest, they're just hanging out. Yeah, like if people I've never met before, they seem like really legit.
If I turned on your iPod right now, what kind of songs would I find? What would be your top 5 songs you played?
Recently?
Yeah.
Sweatshop Union, can I go albums?
Yeah, of
Sweatshop
course.
Union just put out Leisure Gang. It was like a 5-song EP like last week, or this week. That's been getting a lot of rotation. I listen to a lot of hip hop.
Yeah.
Actually. Citizen Cope. I've been getting a lot, yeah. It's like even just waking up in the morning, it's like mellow enough to listen to when you wake up.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's got like enough drive that it's not, you're just not like falling asleep
Yeah.
to it. Who else?
Do you think that like listening to hip hop, do you think that's why like you're more poetic when you write? Is that like an influence for you, like a background?
Well, like singing is something new that I just really started doing.
Okay.
Like the first like recording that I did, I still don't know how to sing that well. and I'm working on that. So it's like, it was like my comfort zone, right? It was like I was comfortable doing this, and now I listen to that stuff and I think it's awful. But like, just I've learned, like, playing with other people and like singing with other people, I've learned a lot like of how to use your voice. So the poetry thing was like a medium for me to deliver the words over the guitar. But now, like, because I can sing a little bit better, it's like enabled me to sing my songs instead of just like reciting them.
Yeah.
More poetic.
Well, what is the next step for you?
The next step.
Are you gonna stay a one-man show here, or are you gonna try and like team up, or come out with a?
I don't know, to be honest. I'm gonna start like recording demos. I have started, but like seriously working on some new demos. And obviously that will start with myself, and then just like building on it. If I can find people to play with on the Sunshine Coast that are like into gigging and like into pursuing music together, then I will try to do that and play with them. But yeah, just like, I'm just gonna take it each day as it comes.
Constantly moving forward.
Yeah, I just need to like I feel like I need to sell more and make the music I have more widely available before I'm invest more time and energy into like another recording project.
That's a good start. What are your famous last words for the Pie Sessions?
My famous last words. I feel like I should look into the camera for this.
Yeah, let's look into the camera.
Famous last words are, "Word is the smoke is from Russia and not from Colorado."
What he said. This has been Pie Sessions with Brett.
Clouds were warm today, sky like a man. Oh, the rain it pours, the old man he snores. Cranberry bars, they keep us afloat when times get tough. Freedom is in the air when seas get rough.